The farm, Wallace Vineyards, the home of Paul Wallace wines, is a good example of what a boutique winery is all about. Here you will find a family with not only a wealth of knowledge about wine, but also unquestionable passion for wine. After spending many years in the wine industry, Paul and Nikki realized their dream when they purchased this farm in the Elgin Valley in September 2003.
I'm a viticulturist, which in layman's terms is a vineyard consultant. And Elgin, the Elgin Valley, is the biggest apple and pear growing area in South Africa. And just before the turn of the century, the late 1990s, the apple industry took a little bit of a nosedive. And some of the apple farmers who managed to hang in approached me to advise them on the growing of wine grapes. And that's how I became involved in the Elgin Valley. And lo and behold, 2-3 years later, after I started consulting to the apple growers on wine growing, this rundown apple farm kind of landed in our laps. We were at the right place at the right time. And ironically, we lived in Cape Town, sold our little house in Cape Town, bought a farm, and had change. I mean, I'd say that's very, very fortunate.
When we went on honeymoon in 1987, we drove through Elgin, and Paul actually made the comment to me at that stage that this is the best place in South Africa to grow wine grapes. The reason we believe that this is one of the best areas in South Africa to grow wine grapes is this cool climate that we experience.
The Golden Delicious and Granny Smith orchards were replaced with Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay, Malbec, Cabernet Franc and Pinot Noir vineyards. Surrounded by vineyards, olive orchards, natural dams with abundant bird life and unparalleled sunsets, Wallace Vineyards, the home of Paul Wallace wines, is a little piece of paradise. The farm is less than 100 kilometers from Cape Town and can be reached within an hour along the N2 National Road. The contribution of their sons, Mark and Bobby, both winemaking graduates and currently gaining more experience elsewhere, is acknowledged on the farm signboard, which they insist bear their names. On their farm, Paul practices what he has preached over the years as a viticultural consultant. With a hands-on approach, he oversees the day-to-day agricultural activities in the vineyards. These include the training and trellising of young vines and the all-important canopy management of the more mature vines. Paul's knowledge of vineyards, wine, and the wine industry in general is invaluable in making a success of this family-run business. While Paul looks after the vineyards, Nikki nurtures her 500 rose bushes, grown for no other reason than pure indulgence and joy. They fill her house, tasting room, and guests staying in their self-catering cottages will always find a welcoming posy of homegrown flowers adorning their accommodation. The friendly, loving dogs that greet all visitors without being a nuisance are an integral part of Paul Wallace wines. One of the vines, Black Dog Malbec, was named after the original black dog, a splendid Labrador cross Rottweiler called Jake. Today there are 2 black Labradors, Angus and Becky, and a needy 3-way spaniel called Benji. The dogs are not so much for security, but more for companionship and to entertain the guests. The chickens are another of Nikki's indulgences. They are mostly Potchefstroom koekoeks or Bosvelders. These are hardy indigenous breeds who need low maintenance and do a good job eating all the bugs in the garden and adjacent vineyards. They are to be forgiven for crowing at random hours in the night or day, as the hens provide a bountiful supply of fresh eggs with bright orange yolks. The dams are home to prolific birdlife, such as red-knobbed coots, spoonbills, yellow-billed ducks, and more. Even the regular visit from a magnificent African fish eagle. Annually, spring gets heralded by the arrival of Victoria and Albert, a couple of blue cranes, and a multitude of swallows. Throughout the year, there are raptors playing in the updrafts or hunting little field mice. The dam in front of the homestead is stocked with a number of good-sized largemouth bass. Guests and visitors to the farm are welcome to fish on a catch and release basis. Best known for their black dog Malbec, which has been garnering acclaim as one of South Africa's leading Malbec wines since its inception in 2004, 2013 saw the flighting of their Paul Wallace brand, which includes the Little Flirt Sauvignon Blanc and Braveheart Pinot Noir. The range was further extended with the inclusion of the Reflection Chardonnay and a Bordeaux blend named Cracker Jack. As the name suggests, it's exactly that, a cracker of a wine. As an added bonus, all adding to the warm hospitality you'll experience at Paul Wallace Wines, is the informal chocolate and wine pairing experience. Each of the wines have been paired with imported Belgian chocolate, reworked with taste combinations to complement the wines. It's not very common to find such a personal and authentic wine tasting presented by the owners themselves, who also happen to be not just winemakers, but welcoming and knowledgeable hosts. Old farm workers' cottages have been refurbished into self-catering accommodation. The farm now offers 3 such guest cottages. 2 of these cottages accommodate 4 people each. The 3rd cottage is suitable for a couple. These cottages are tastefully decorated with much attention to detail to ensure your every comfort. A well-equipped kitchenette, comfortable beds with crisp white linen, an outside braai area, TV and free Wi-Fi, as well as the adjacent tasting room, stocked with their outstanding wines, will contribute to a memorable stay at Paul Wallace Wines and Cottages. Consult their website for the latest accommodation options and availability.